Coming up on today's podcast, a very special event for many EV owners as they take delivery of the world's first right-hand drive Model 3s. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. Welcome to EV News Daily. My name is Martyn Lee. Welcome to the glorious location of the front seat of my car. Travelling at the moment, heading off to France this weekend. There's a Formula One race in somewhere called Paul Ricard, Circuit Paul Ricard. So I'm off to the racing this weekend, so lots of travelling at the moment. So I'm currently parked in a multi-storey car park in the front seat of a car right now. However, earlier today, I was in Heathrow, which is kind of ironic because I'm in Gatwick right now, and I was at the location of the airport, which is where Tesla have one of their big bases here in the UK, one of their locations where they were handing over the first cars to owners of the Model 3 right-hand drive cars, the first ones in the world, of course, just in time for the end of the quarter, sell a few more cars and hopefully hit those targets that have been set by Elon Musk. But all of that stuff faded away. All of that kind of, how many cars will they sell kind of thing. All of that fades away when you are in front of someone. When you're talking to someone and they can see their car in the distance, there is just this sense of excitement that people have waited 3 years to get these cars, by the way. And it was so good to be there today at Tesla, first thing in the morning, talk to a couple of people about their car, talk to a couple of existing Tesla owners that were there to pass on their knowledge as well, and generally just kind of hang out for a little bit and soak up some of the awesome atmosphere that did include, by the way, the first people who were the first members of the public picking up their car. Once they had their look around it and their kind of half an hour with their handover person to learn all about the car, they did get cheered out of the showroom. I can't really call it that. It's not really a warehouse or a hangar, the storage place, as they were cheered out by a guard of honor, which was kind of like hairs on the back of your neck standing on end. People had come from all different Tesla stores around the area to come and cheer people out. So as people were getting in their Model 3s and driving them away, there was a guard of honor, both sides, people cheering, clapping, whooping. It was a brilliant atmosphere today. So congratulations to all of the Tesla team. Fantastic atmosphere for anyone picking up their car, especially a car that they have waited so long for. So here are some of the highlights of today, talking to people who were there, including even the people serving the refreshments that turned up in not one but two Teslas. Anyway, hopefully you'll enjoy today's programme, a little highlights package of what happened, and then maybe if you're waiting for your Model 3, you can let me know, what have you gone for? What's your spec? How long have you been waiting? How much you're looking forward to it? I'd love to hear from you anytime. Enjoy today's show. James and Fiona, massive congratulations. What a day. Firstly, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Nice to talk to you.
And congratulations on getting that first round of applause as you went out of the door. That was a real special feeling.
Well, it certainly was, yes.
Fiona went bright red. I think the embarrassment of having people look at us. So, and we'd accidentally got the seat heat on as well. So, it didn't help. But yeah, great experience from Tesla. Really nice delivery experience. We've taken around the car. We're current Tesla owners, we've got a Model S, and so we knew our way around the car pretty well, but Tesla did a great job this morning, showing us around the car and then giving us a great send-off, so fantastic.
That was actually one of the questions that I was keen to find out from people today, about whether they are existing EV owners, existing Tesla owners. So you've got the Model S already. Firstly, tell us about that process. When did you buy it? Why did you buy it? Okay, I'll ask you, James.
Yeah, I bought it privately 3 years ago. Right. I was an Aston driver. I got a Vantage V8, and eventually the showroom in the Touchwood Centre in Birmingham persuaded me in to come and try a Tesla. And as soon as I drove it, I just knew that was the future. That's what I needed to be driving. I worked out that what you'd call a petrol head is going to get their fun now using an EV rather than a big V8. And I'm a Green Party member, and so I'm into the environmental benefits of EV. And I've always said to my family that the Model S it goes like a missile, but it's powered by windmills. Yeah. And I bought a P85D and loved every minute of owning it. But as soon as I saw the Model 3, I just thought it was more suitable for us. The Model S is a big, big car, and while it drives beautifully, the Model 3 is just going to be a bit more suitable for UK roads, a bit more nimble, and looking forward to driving it today.
Yeah, I was out in Miami in March, and on US roads, the Model 3 almost felt like a kind of a small car because and I had an X when I was out there actually, and that just felt normal. It felt normal because there was these massive fossil burning trucks that in the US they're just ridiculous. I mean, they're just massive. So the X actually felt normal. So in terms of going electric, Fiona, how did that fit in with your lifestyle and any changes that you make? Obviously, you charge overnight. Every morning the car's full.
Well, it did change for us when we were travelling to call in at the service stations, which we never used to do, and charge up there. But really, it's not a problem, is it? Just charger at home and plug in overnight and it's done.
But at our local services there are 12 supercharger points and one electric highway point with 2 cables on it, and that ability to drive in, never have to wait for a bay, always get a quick charge, just makes it a completely practical proposition. I run a software business. I travel to see customers around the country, and as I take my colleagues and customers around, they're always interested in how practical is it, and they can rarely believe it when we stop in a service station, plug in the supercharger, go inside, get a cup of tea, and then the phone bing bongs to say the car's ready to complete the journey. It's just a great experience for them, and they're kind of, what, already? Can we go? Yeah. They don't believe it. So that's been good. And through the lifetime, we've had the Model S for 3 years. The over-the-air updates have been fantastic. As a software guy, I just enjoy that process. The car gets better during your ownership. And there's everything from the trivial and comic to really practical, fundamental changes. The last update was for dog mode to improve the safety for dogs left in cars. One before that improved the user experience for the sat-nav. And it's great. And prior to that, a fundamental change to how the battery behaves when you drive to a supercharger now.
Oh, the preheating.
Yeah. And to see that the engineers have worked out how to get, I think it was 50% faster charging on arrival at a supercharger by spending some of the energy stored in the battery to preheat it, make it ready for the supercharger. That's fundamental physics. That's actually changing how the batteries behave, and it improves the driver's experience. And I really don't think many outside the Tesla community appreciate quite how big the steps forward are in the software updates.
But you're a software guy, so you get this. But I always say Tesla's not a car company, it's not an energy company. If you want to pigeonhole it, it's a Silicon Valley tech company. Yep. They happen to make a physical consumer product that happens to be a car. But it's hard to pigeonhole in and just say they're just one thing. But as a software guy, you clearly that's your thing. The over-the-air updates would be. It's just that's if you were to buy an EV, that's the first thing. Okay, I'm not going to take it back to a building to have someone put an SD card in to update it.
Exactly, it just seems like old school, doesn't it? And really, it's the combination of the Silicon Valley tech approach with the physical infrastructure, with the energy management. All of that needs to come together to make the Tesla proposition work, and it does. And I've managed to spread the Tesla gospel to my next door neighbour who drives a Model S, my sister who drives a Model S, and my mum's driving a Nissan Leaf. So we're into it. But the Tesla combination is unique. The other manufacturers have got a long way to go to catch up with that idea, really, and that balance of all the capabilities.
There's a lot of cars in here today. Yours was the first one out of the door. So what was the spec you went for then?
I'm lucky enough to have a Model 3 performance with self-driving hardware, finished in beautiful pearlescent white with a white and black interior. And it almost feels like going back to the old Apple aesthetic, the style of the interior. And one of the reasons I wanted to buy into the car is, as I said before, the move from internal combustion to EV is like a generational change. The performance of the car is a big change, and it feels now like the aesthetics of cars, the design of cars is changing, and the Model 3 is the first one to show that new style. We're not going to have old-fashioned driver binnacles and drive tunnels and gearbox levers and stuff inside our car. We're going to have a much cleaner aesthetic, and I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to enjoy the style of the car, and it's unbelievable, frankly, that I've ended up being
number one,
first member of the public to, that's just a fluke, but I knew from the moment I ordered it that there was a long wait, and it's just very lucky to end up here in the UK as number one.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, look, if listeners can hear the kind of hubbub in the background, there's a coffee machine whirring away. They might have even heard some applause and lots of conversation in the background. So it's a really, really busy day here, and just congratulations once again.
Thank you. Very nice to talk to you. I'm very lucky to be here on the first day. Thanks for your time.
Now, one of the really cool things about EV owners in general, it's not exclusive to Tesla, but it is pretty powerful in the Tesla community, is the willingness to talk to people. And I get it all the time when I'm charging. The question is, well, actually, let me ask this next interview subject. Darin is here with me. You're a Tesla owner.
Well,
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I am. I've got a Model X, and prior to that, I had a Model S. So I'm well and truly in the Tesla club. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you've even got your Talking Tesla badge. So you're even a fan of Tesla podcasts as well.
Yeah. I've even been to a conference to do with Tesla in the States. I mean, the family despair of me, but hey, it works for me.
Now, I was. In the introduction there, I was talking about the questions that we are always asked as EV drivers. Is there one, or what's the top few questions you always get asked?
Okay, I'm sure you ask that question, everybody says, how far does it go?
How far does it
go?
You
must get that on yours.
How far does it go is number one.
Yeah, how far does it go? How much did it cost you?
Number two. Or we get, how much did it cost you? And number three.
Well, this is a more obscure one, but I do get it. Does it stop in the rain?
My number three is how much does it cost to fill up? So,
yeah, I do get that. Yeah, I do get that.
Not much. Yeah. I don't know really. Overnight at home, I mean, yes, the electricity bill has gone up, but not by much.
I just say, look at the size of this car, and if I was to stop on a motorway services, fill it up at the going rate, it's probably maybe max 15 quid, and look at the size of it, and that kind of puts it in perspective.
It really does. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. Firstly, today, you are here to answer questions over and above, because they've got a lot of cars to get through. Everyone gets a certain amount of time with someone from Tesla. If somebody has more questions, you volunteered to come along today to answer those.
Yeah, we have them, and in fact, this is a pilot, it's a trial, and what we've discovered is that the questions are not before they get in the car. The questions are when they've got in the car and suddenly they're faced with the road outside and the M4 at the bottom of the road outside. And they're faced with a car with a screen and no obvious buttons or stalks. And though many of them knew that because they've studied this in depth, PhD level, when they're actually faced with getting out there, they have a little bit of a panic attack. And I think that's where the owners, the experienced owners, our expertise will probably come in helpful then.
Last weekend before, time flies, fully charged live. You weren't just involved in shuttling over 10,000 people to the exhibition centre. You were drenched because you were outside the cars organising the whole thing.
I was indeed, in spite of the weather forecast having said it's not going to rain all day. It rained all day. But, you with other Tesla owners, people such as yourselves were attending that show. So the enthusiasm and the buzz overcame any discomfort in that wind and rain. Plus, I think I've already said to you, we were there with another purpose because we were raising money for our favoured charity, which is our own charity, where we put small electric vehicles, the mini Teslas. Pretty much we're trying to get them into every children's ward. We've already got them in every children's hospice, every children's ward in the country. And that weekend, do you want to know how much we raised?
Because we haven't said yet, because you were shaking your buckets.
Yeah.
Go on.
I was shaking my buckets going, I'm a Scouser, give me your cash. And they did. And we raised, at the end of 3 days, £13,250. Incredible.
£13,250 raised from all volunteering, the Tesla Owners Club in the UK, volunteering their time and their cars, it must be said, to shuttle people from the car park, which is a fair way away, into the fully charged. Yeah.
And can I say, if there's anybody listening to this podcast who did dig deep into the pockets, and I'm saying time and time again, every time they emerged, there was a bucket in their face, and it was like, you must have got some change since last time, give us your money. And people who did that and did it willingly and so generously, this is probably my only opportunity to say a big thank you. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your time today. We look forward to seeing you at the next event.
Indeed, you will. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
So today, maybe on the podcast, you've heard some noise in the background, which I said was people enjoying their teas and coffees, and there is a bit of a lull at lunchtime now before the next wave of people coming in, so it's a great opportunity for me to grab the people who have been making those coffees and keeping all those new Model 3 owners well hydrated and caffeinated. So what's your name?
Hayley Thompson.
Hello, Hayley, and who are you here with?
Adil Mughal, my partner.
Okay, and as well as having a mobile coffee shop inside a Tesla office, really, while the cars are being handed over, tell us the story about how you brought your coffee van. It's not a coffee cart. How did it get here today?
So we actually came here with our Model X. So it actually tows Bean and Fizz, which is our coffee van, on a flatbed trailer. So we're coming down the M4. So if any of you were driving down the M4 today, stuck in traffic, you may have seen us too. We were taking it slow in the slow lane, and got here obviously in one piece, unloaded outside of the Tesla showroom and parked up inside.
Amazing. So you have one of these really cool, I'm just trying to think of the best way to describe it. I used to work in Soho where there was a lot of street food and everyone had like a really cool converted van. So it's that kind of thing, but you've done it really nicely for Bean and Fizz. What was the inspiration for this? Well,
we'd wanted to start one up for ages. We had seen them around too, and we'd just always been fascinated. We love coffee and drinks ourselves, so we were brainstorming names, came up with Bean and Fizz, kind of explaining what the coffee van does with serving coffee and hot drinks, and then also catering for alcohol too. So we've got 2 taps on board which serve Prosecco, beer and all of that good stuff. Brilliant.
And as for being lovers of coffee, I mean, there's one thing, I love coffee, but to make it into a business, that's like you go to events, festivals, things like that?
Yeah, so we've even got a wedding booking up in the Lake District coming up next month, which we're really excited about. We do lots of corporate functions, surprise birthday parties, and then we have a regular pitch locally close to where we live, where we do sort of a regular hot drink service, which goes down really well. Wow.
Now, onto your Tesla ownership. What's your origin story? If you are both superheroes in the coffee world, but the superhero origin story. What's yours? How did you get into an EV?
So we test drove one, and we loved it. We sort of walked into a showroom and said, "Oh, should we?" And then went ahead and kind of never looked back. So Adil initially got a Model S. We love the Model S. We road tripped to the north of Norway in it, had an amazing time, slept in the back of it in the camper mode, which was a tight squeeze, but it worked. Took it across on all the ferries and bits and pieces, and the fords in Norway, which was really stunning. So we recommend all of you take your Tesla to Norway and road trip. And then obviously with the purchase of Bean and Fizz, the coffee van, we were looking for an option to get it around beyond just being able to drive it locally, and so had to get an option with a trailer and a tow capability. So the Model X sort of just fell into place. Again, test drove that, loved the experience, and then placed the order directly. And there we go. So two Teslas. We don't want to trade them in at the moment, but we do love the look of the Model 3 too. We first saw that in New York in one of the showrooms, and we were just blown away about all the interiors and the look of it, and we think it will really take off in the UK.
I love it whenever I'm interviewing 2 people and one person's done all the talking, the other person always just shuffles backwards. But we should probably grab
a deal.
We should probably grab a deal. And now he's got his phone out to try and pretend like he hasn't got time to talk. But anyway, Adil, I'll chase you around Tesla if I have to. Let's get you on the podcast today. So when you went around Norway, and even you go to the far north, there's superchargers, right?
They are, yeah. I mean, the road trip was just phenomenal because we kind of just drove, and wherever you stopped, you'd stop at amazing superchargers. Yeah. They weren't like normal service stations. They were like in mansions with little country parks, so you kind of just had this feeling that you were parked up and you could go for nice walks. So yeah, phenomenal.
It's just brilliant when you've got that freedom to just go and know that at the end of where you're going there's a supercharger.
Exactly.
I'm going to get some electrons I can juice up. So awesome to have you here today, and awesome for you to bring this really cool vehicle, coffee cart. Because cart sounds not good enough. Like, how do you describe it?
So we describe it as a Piaggio. So so it was built in Italy, came over to the UK, and then we got it constructed in the way that we wanted it to be looking in terms of serving the coffee and the fizz element too. So yeah,
amazing.
A labour of love.
Yeah. Well, look, congratulations on being here and being dual Tesla owners. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, we're here with the Owners Know Best Bar. It's a place where people who are picking up their new Model 3 can then, if they need more time than, because they're getting through a lot of deliveries today, more time to ask questions, come over and talk to some members of the Tesla Owners Group in the UK. First of all, Malcolm, welcome along to the podcast. Thank you for your work today. How was Fully Charged Live, first of all?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Loved every minute of it, just driving my Tesla all day long.
Perfect. There was a couple of guys who I was speaking to that didn't even get into the show one day. They just drove their car all day.
I was one of them people.
Yeah. As well as you. Yeah, I spoke to one of the guys. He got through about 70 kilowatt hours. No, not that much. 20 something kilowatt hours of just poodling around. And I was bigger than the battery on my Zoe. So it was just a great day. Here though today, what an atmosphere. It's like, does this bring you back to the moment you got your car? Does it bring back some memories?
It does, but I wish I was picking mine up.
Well, yeah. There's only so many they can build at a time.
Of course.
You got yours on order? Oh, you ordered straight away 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago, and I confirmed order on the 1st of May, but it's a standard plus, I'm afraid, so it's all P's today.
Well, we know they're true to form, as they have been with every model, every country, every territory. There's a bunch of performance cars, and afraid of yours isn't one of them.
Yeah, I'm a cheapskate.
Not at all. What spec have you gone for?
Standard H plus with blue, and that's it. There's nothing else extra.
Yeah. Brilliant, absolutely wonderful. And I'm here with Simon as well. Simon, Malcolm's got to go, so we'll talk to you next in case he has to dash off. You've just arrived today, but have you done these kind of events before where you've helped people?
So as the owners group, we have a lot of events. So Fully Charged Live is one of them. We've gone to Classic Silverstone. We've held our own events where we follow each other in the countryside to pubs and other places. So I think this must be event number 4 or 5 for the year. So absolutely, sometimes just within the club, sometimes helping others out.
Yeah, and I'll be at Gaydon for the first time this year as well. So I'm looking forward to that being the first one that I come to. So I'm looking forward to that.
A lot of good reception from the people we transport along who've never been in an electric car, who kind of just have all the typical questions like what's the range, how long does it take to charge, all the typical questions that, again, we might get today as well.
Where do you charge it? How long does it, how much does it cost to charge? That's always a common one as well. The Model 3, have you driven a Model 3, and if so, where?
I've driven a Model 3 in the US, as I went to the Fremont factory, as a lot of the Tesla owners in the UK have by now. And I had the opportunity to rent one through Giro, and took one just out for the day, and it drives really, really, really nice.
It is. And how did you acclimatise to the single big screen?
Haven't driven a Model S for 3 years now. A big screen in the middle is kind of, and a futuristic car, electric car, is normal now for me.
But nothing in the binnacle in front of you, though. I mean, just nothing behind the steering wheel, and that I find that you get used to it within about 30 seconds.
I think we can do less than that. So no, it's quickly to get used to. Even a big screen on the Model S in the middle, people said, "Oh, it must distract you, it must do this," and actually, you get so used to it so quickly. So yeah, the same will happen with these owners.
All right. Well, thank you for chatting to us today.
Not a problem.
We're outside now with EV News Daily and talking to Vlad, who is the new owner of a beautiful multi-coat white. Is that right? Is that multi-coat white, Vlad?
I think so. I think that's what they call it. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to make it up if it's not. Of a brand new right-hand drive Tesla Model 3, the first ones in the world today are being handed over. And congratulations.
Thank you. Very exciting day.
It was a fascinating thing to see people coming in full of anticipation, excitement. How have you been feeling in the lead up?
To be honest, it's been a roller coaster in terms of I put my deposit down 3 years ago, and so much weight. I kind of forgot about it for a while. For a good 2 years, it was just in the background, and then as the date was coming closer and closer, more and more anticipation, more excitement. So many YouTube videos and what have you to get familiar with it, and then the few days before, just butterflies really. The stomach, just really, really excited to see it finally.
The question we're asking everyone is whether they're an existing EV owner, existing Tesla owner even.
No, I'm not. No, I have owned 2 EVs before. They both were i3s, so the first gen i3 and then the second gen. And I put my deposit down on this Model 3 before I had my first EV. So I put a deposit down just as a, well, you never know, it could be good. And then I had a test drive in an EV, and that was it. I was hooked. So it was more a case of, well, what else is available whilst I'm waiting for this?
Wow. A lot of people turning up today are turning up in their existing Tesla. So you're the first person that we've spoken to coming from, you know, an EV but a non-Tesla owner. What have you done to prepare? Have you driven one? Have you taken drives or what?
No. I've driven out of the showroom. That's about my experience behind the wheel of a Model 3. I did get driven in a Model S just to see what kind of performance, just get a feel for the figures, which one I was going to order. But yeah, this is the first time driving a Tesla.
Okay. The size of it, perfect for British roads. The styling of it, I mean, it just looks great, doesn't it?
Yep. It the lights remind me a little bit of certain Porsches, and I've always liked that design. And yeah, the size. I mean, to be honest, I was looking at second-hand Model S's before, but the size of them just put me off. It's not for me. Especially going from an i3, living in Birmingham in the city. I still use my i3 to get all around the UK, up to Edinburgh and back. But I didn't want anything too big, and I do think this is just right.
So what's the spec you've gone for?
I went for the performance. Initially I went for the long range all-wheel drive, which is not available anymore, so I upgraded to performance in white, black and white interior, bit risky. But I just saw so many photos and videos of it, and I just love that. I just think it makes it look really special inside as well, and feels quite airy. And yeah, the sports pack, the spoiler, upgraded brakes, all of that. Basically everything I could, to be honest. Yeah, I just had to do it in the end.
When you say you upgraded, at what point did you think, no, let's change this? Had you so you put your order in for the long range rear wheel drive?
Yeah. Like I said, I was in Tesla Birmingham the day that the reservations were announced 3 years ago, and then as soon as the order book was open, I put the order through, and that was it. Then I just thought, right, I'll sit back and wait. Great, looking forward to it. And then Tesla just adjusted their prices a little bit. They got rid of the middle one, the long range all-wheel drive, and it seemed more attractive to upgrade to the performance. But unfortunately, they dropped the white interior, and that's the one that I wanted. So I was kind of like, really, not sure. It does seem like performance is a much better deal now, but I did have my heart set on the white. And then Elon tweeted something about the white's coming back, so I gave it a few days. It came back, and then I just switched my order, and that's it. I've got the car I wanted. Well, more in fact, because I planned on the long range, and I've got the performance.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool when somebody was just talking about interior and he just dived into the conversation as only he can and go, yeah, no, you're right, white, we'll bring it back. Amazing. Let's have a wander around. It's man, it is a beautiful car in the flesh. But why I want to walk around the back of your car right now is to have a look, because it is the performance version, is to have a look at the back. Now, I don't know if you watch the YouTube videos in Norway of Bjorn Nyland. He got the performance version, but in certain countries they haven't had a chance to get the carbon fibre spoiler put on the back, which of course means they don't enable the top speed. And I'm looking at yours, and well, it's job done.
Yeah. I really like that, actually, to be honest. I'm a fan of keeping things as simple as possible. So things like the dual motor sticker, I do want to get rid of that. I want it as simple. And the spoiler is one thing that when I saw, I thought, actually, I may not have it put on. I may get it taken off because to keep it simple. But now that I've seen it, especially in the white, having kind of like a black roof, black pieces painted in white, having that black spoiler in carbon, I actually like. I'm definitely going to keep that on there.
And of course it means you get the higher top speed. Yeah. So if you find yourself on the Autobahn and you want to put your foot down, you've got access to all that speed as well.
Which is possible, yeah. One day, why not? Yeah.
What's going to be the use of this car? Commuting, long range trips, what?
Not commuting really. I work for myself. It's going to be every now and again the odd long range trip. Yeah, I've generally kind of made a decision recently to take much less flights, if not stop taking flights. I used to do a lot of travelling all around the world, and I kind of just don't want to do that anymore in terms of using fossil fuels on flights. So I can see this coming in useful for travelling around Europe. I've got a few trips planned ahead in the next few weeks.
Amazing. Well, look, massive congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's little bonus show for EV News Daily. Not really a bonus because that implies extra, and I missed yesterday. But this is a special edition because it was a fair bit of travelling for me to do today, but I wouldn't have missed it for the world to be there first thing in the morning to soak up all of that atmosphere. So if you'd like to get involved with the show, let me know if you're a reservation holder for the Model 3, or maybe you've got yours already, you were one of the first, however many people got their car, then let me know. You can email me anytime, hello@evnewsdaily.com, or if you want to, you can leave a comment on Facebook and YouTube. Right, time for the endy bit. There are 222 patrons, I think. I need to check. Of the podcast, who keep us going. Thank you so much. I've got some new names to read out very soon as well. A couple of new names, actually. New executive producer joining up. And if you'd like to know what it's all about, patreon.com/evnewsdaily. In the meantime, they've got lots of old shows that are normally the new shows, in fairness. Not normally special ones like this. You can get them anytime, and you can get all the new shows first and free and automatically by hitting subscribe. It's a free subscription. The show is free. It always will be free, and you can get all the new ones first. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow, and remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.